What's up guys, NepentheZ here, and welcome back to another FIFA 23 video. Today our main man Matt HD Gamer has created a video himself speaking on FIFA and his feelings about it, and we're going to give our reactions to that and get into the nitty gritty of where FIFA 23 is and my opinions on his opinions. If you're enjoying the content, drop a thumbs up, thanks for watching, and let's get into it.
It's been a while since I've made one of these hopefully passionate videos, but the time has come.
Matt does love the word passion, doesn't he? He is a passionate boy.
For cheap and fast, reliable football. This game has just launched, and it genuinely is so incredibly passionate about this game. And it actually, is so incredibly passionate about this game. And it.
He is a passionate boy. Whoever edited this even jump cut to him being passionate about the game.
Launched. And it genuinely is so incredibly passionate about this game. And it actually feels like they've given up on a lot of Ultimate Team.
He's right? And the only reason why I can think is because EA want to discourage people from the FIFA brand. Because if I say to you, I'm playing FIFA 23, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If I say to you, I'm playing EA Sports FC 24, you haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. So whoever gets the rights to FIFA next year, whether that's 2K or some other company that comes in and becomes part of it, if you're playing FIFA 2K 24, right, EA want you to think, oh, FIFA? No, screw that game. Let's try this EA Sports FC thing, right?
This FIFA. That's how it feels. And the World Cup is on. And we're getting a 83 plus player pick pack. On the same day.
Matt swore, guys. Oh, he's mad. He is mad.
That Saudi Arabia just beat Argentina. There couldn't have been like a 90 rated special Saudi Arabia player card.
What did I say yesterday, guys? I said the same thing, right? I said the same thing. Like one of the biggest upsets in World Cup history. Saudi Arabia, the lowest rank, maybe the second lowest ranked team in the World Cup, beat World Cup favourites Argentina, and EA did nothing for it. They could have done anything, literally anything, and they chose nothing.
To celebrate their win, right? There couldn't have been a special guaranteed pack most days of the World Cup because of a lack of a World Cup mode in Ultimate Team.
Yep.
You see where I'm going with this? For about a week straight now, and probably really since the World Cup has begun, guys, there's been so many, rumours of different things not being in this FIFA, and we haven't got any communication on it. And it's a massive talking point. It's not only me who's obviously come up with this, and I've got to show you this. So my man Nick20 did say there, seriously, what are you guys doing with this game?
What do you mean, my man Nick 2018? He stole my tweet! That's my tweet!
Pumping out SBCs, but there's very limited ways to get fodder. You've obliterated already poor chance rewards, and the market is on the floor. We deserve answers, we deserve communication, and that we do. So, what he means by that, and I think Nep spoke about it briefly a few days ago on Twitter, is that apparently there might not be league SBCs this FIFA in FIFA 23. Which means that whenever you do, for example, want to go and complete, a big new icon SBC, or God forbid, guys, if you want to go and complete the new 83 plus player pick pack, the fodder, you're going to be driven towards...
I'm not even joking, right? I'm not even joking. The fodder levels required for the 83 plus player pick was terrible. And EA know what they're doing with that. Because EA know an 83 rated squad is 10k or less. So they made it 284 rated cards to bump up that value. And that's about 5k on top. So now it's a 15k player pick. It is actually, because of how bad packs are and how hard fodder is to come by, it's actually reasonably challenging to get 284 rated players for fodder, which is mad.
Buying packs themselves, right? You're going to be driven towards going to the store.
Yep.
And it really is showing that, every day we're logging on to FIFA at 6 p.m. and wanting some mad content, wanting something really fun to stay in the game and have fun with and not go on to another game on COD or whatever you guys play. And the amount of people I'm seeing on stream saying, why am I logging in at 6 p.m.? It's the World Cup.
Yep.
And this game feels so dead in November. It really, really does.
It does.
And I think a lot of people at least are feeling the same way. FUT Champs rewards need boosting. I know they're changing this week, but I'm not sure about how they will be.
It changed for the worse,
The lack of creativity every day I'm seeing, guys, at 6 p.m. is insanity. It is often like talking to a brick wall. I do think that we need so much more.
Yep.
The lack of a World Cup mode has meant that I think a lot of us...
That was, for me, one of the biggest things. The World Cup mode in 2014 and 2018 was humongous. Like, the 2014 one was the best by far, right? No question about it. The 2018 one was still very good, but got ruined with the repeatable icon SBC that only required an 83 rated squad. Right? Everybody was looking forwards to the World Cup mode this time around. When they didn't give it, but then they introduced that news tab, that World Cup tab on FUT, and day one of FUT World Cup mode last week or the week before was like so promising. I genuinely thought, oh, okay, they haven't given us the World Cup mode here, but instead we're going to get something else exemplary. And we got absolutely gypped, right? This World Cup promo could genuinely have been any other promo. It's that bad. It could have just been any other promo.
Had high hopes. You know what? We've got some flashy new menus here. We've got these. But again, a lot of people do like to grind these at their own pace. A lot of people like to grind these fast. I do a lot, but you guys might be different. You might be a casual FIFA player. Still, to not have more than this for the World Cup is just super deflating, Yeah. It really, really is. And I think a lot of players you watching might be feeling the same way. This game and the directions going in with the content is just not a good direction. It's not going in an exciting way.
True.
It feels like the content team are just not doing enough to keep players on the game.
Yeah, it's true. Do you want to know why? Do you know why? And the reason why is because EA are working on EAFC 24, EAFC 25, EASFC 26, and they do not give a damn about FIFA 23. They don't care. Just in general, for those of you that don't know, right? Like, let's pretend that FIFA, it was still going to be called FIFA next year, and it would be FIFA 24. They already would have finished FIFA 23. They'd have a really small team working on FIFA 23 to fix updates, content, etc. And then FIFA 24, they would be fully working on already. They'd be like fully working on it, right? So the fact that they're probably working on EA Sports FC 24 isn't really a surprise. Anyway,
and it's so annoying to see because this game could be amazing. We could have, for example, every day, like I said before, if there's a shock win in the World Cup, every day, by the way, there should be at least, a guaranteed pack most days during the World Cup. Maybe like when Saudi Arabia win, there could be a special card release that's a limited time or something. You've got to go and claim it fast. Just something fun.
Yep.
And something that links with the World Cup. But, we're getting these random SBCs. And speaking of random SBCs, guys, I mean, my God, another SBC they've got wrong here. Yeah. Quadrado should not be 4 panels, right? Oh, Quadrado 100%. Should absolutely be max 2 panels, especially with like 80 finishing on that card. I mean, it's just not what we expected. It's not what we wanted. And for me, I think we definitely deserve a lot more as a community. We really do. And the lack of communication. And a big thing I will say is that the launch of this FIFA, a lot of other content creators have agreed with me here. And I really felt this since the day, probably the few weeks prior, maybe month prior. Am I the only one who felt like EA really took a back seat in the hype of launching this FIFA? I've not seen a lesser amount of hype, or maybe even like, I guess, advertisement towards the new FIFA launching. And some people are saying that maybe that could be because the next FIFA, they own those rights and it's not going to be FIFA. That's when they'll pump a lot more hype into it. But I think a lot of people feeling that with this FIFA.
And on that note, we can only hope, and this is what I tweeted like a week or so ago, we can only hope that the next game is better. But I feel like there's a lot of bad faith for the FIFA brand going on here to discourage people from playing it and buying it next year so that EA Sports FC flourishes. And I'm sure that maybe that's not the truth, but that's at least the perception, right? And I think we've all been in and around the industry enough to know that the perception is more important than the truth, right? And the way EA are currently going about FIFA 23 is that it seems like to the masses they are trying to discourage people from playing this game.
But there just hasn't been that launch hype like there normally would do. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. But for me, man, this game is just in not the best of ways at all with content. Gameplay, they keep changing the metas like they always do every single year. We always know that. And I just feel like this game, we're logging on at 6 p.m. and we're not being excited.
Yeah.
And we should be. It's the World Cup. It's on right now in the background. Like, we need more. We need so much more fun. And it's like, I don't think these SBCs are bringing the hype. I'm sorry to Milos Degenek there.
And on a player like this,
and
no,
also
I know you guys said Nick said he was decent, and he's not bad, right? I think it's fair to say this isn't a bad card. Good pace, good defending, good physical, all right passing, pretty poor dribbling. But do you know what would have made this card a lot better? If, especially now that we have a new chemistry system, if he linked to all other World Cup Half the Glory players, or if he like strong linked. And then also soft linked to just every other player. Just give these players... Or do you know what? We should just do away with chemistry altogether. Do you want to know why? First of all, SBCs have generally done away with chemistry. You get the odd like daily one for a pack where you got to get like 30 chem or 25 chem or something. But for the most part, to complete something like Iñaki Williams or Juan Cuadrado, all of those SBC segments, you don't require chemistry. When you put a hero into a team... They just fit perfectly for chemistry. When you put an icon into a team, they just fit perfectly for chemistry. That's how all cards should be. You should just be able to build your favorite team, because that way people would look at an SBC like this and think, do you know what? I'm going to try him out because he'll just fit seamlessly into my team. But at the moment, they look at a card like this and they think, even though he might only be, what was he, like 15k, right? Okay, even though he might only be 20k, right? You can't fit him into a team. You just can't. Okay, there's some nice MLS players, but they're way behind the power curve. He's a bit behind the power curve, but still usable. But you can't just seamlessly fit him into a team. So unless you're Australian, fan of the MLS, fan of the Columbus Crew, which we are, big up Darlington Nagbe, or a fan of like Zardes or something, what incentive do you have to complete this SBC? There is next to none.
Iñaki Williams there, but I think I speak for all of us, and these are not very exciting SBCs. They're just not. We need more guaranteed packs. We need more player pick packs. Need more content. This game is obviously more than half about content these days, right? I mean, I'm not sure about you guys, but how often do you play the game compared to the menus? Comment down below, because a lot of us these days, especially on streams, it's often about content. So when there's not something crazy, you know, it's like, damn, okay, let's log off and go in a different game, right?
Yeah.
We don't always want to play FIFA in terms of gameplay. So I just think they really need to really think about what they're doing in terms of content. It does not feel like there is actually any kind of proactive plan around the World Cup. It's just, oh, let's release random players. Let's release these, you know, dynamic duos and just hope they go out well to the community. Whereas, in fact, they should definitely be doing loads of live content, guys. Like,
ads, please pause. I'll hold it for 1 minute, guys. That wasn't me. I'll read some of the comments. So Chris says, you think they're trying to lower our expectations? So when they give us bare minimum, the subpar content in the next game, we'll get excited and be happy about it because they lowered the bar so much. I don't know. I definitely do think that like there is only so far. The fact that they cap players at 99 and there's no progression system with players and things like that obviously makes a difference and influences them. You know, I know FIFA Mobile players can go up to like 130, and then they also have like you can almost like ascend them, you know, like once you get them to 130, you can then put them up further levels. But wouldn't it be more interesting if EA started, like, why do we have a cap at 99 and multiple players every game cycle hit 99 and can't go further through the ceiling, but we start players at like 42, right? So what we should do is start players at 1 or 5 or 10 and then have the ability to expand and grow and progress through a game cycle until we hit that upper limit. And even then, when you hit an upper limit, there should still be a way to improve that player. For example, if we have, you know, from years gone by, right? Let's just take the Ronaldo, because we all know he gets a 99 basically every year, right? Once this Cristiano Ronaldo here is a 99 rated player, this is where, you know, effectively he's entered his final form. This is where you then should be able to grind that player further to improve the agility, improve the balance, improve the dribbling, improve the defensive stats, improve the passing stats. And the way you would do that is by objectives, milestones, game time, you know, play 100 games to get a +1 in a stat that you can put in, right? That would be better than just having, I mean, from, what was it, the year before, where we had multiple 99s of Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, look at that. This guy, he's got 2 98s and 2 99s. At this point, what is the true difference? It's pointless. You want overalls to start at 10? Yeah, but it'll be relative, right? It'll be relative because it's not like you're going to be playing with someone stuck in mud. It's just relative to the values of where cards are now to stop us from having cards hitting an upper limit and then moving nowhere forwards.
Even small things like in FIFA 14, we used to have man of the match players released straight after a game.
Yep.
We are not getting that anymore. We're not getting that live reactive content that made you think, oh, I can't wait to try Jude Bellingham's new card. He just played amazing for England. No, you've got to go back on FIFA and use the gold rare. You know, there's no proactiveness and there's no communication there in terms of creativity with the community. And it's insane. I really think it has to be spoken about. This content EA is not good enough. I think we need to see a lot more creativity, a ton of more fun content every day, reactive content when there's a great performance from a player. Ochoa saved a penalty before against Poland. That could be something that could be done. Something fun, you know? I don't know. I needed to get this on my chest because I've had this like this for about a few weeks now. The game feels so like... I think a lot of people are quite bored with content.
Yep.
And when we do get a new promo, often it's the same player, we want to see new things. Yes, we've got World Cup swaps. That's probably the best thing. In my opinion, this World Cup promo, guys, it's probably the worst promo I've seen in 5 years since they started doing more promo kind of content.
Genuinely agree with that. This
what do you think?
100%.
I don't know. Had to rant today because this is just so dead for the World Cup.
The worst promos we've had. Right? It had so much promise and it under-delivered. And one of the big issues we have is that if EA are peddling this towards a card collecting game, which it seems like they are, then you have to give us the means to be able to collect the cards without spending money on FIFA points, right? However, if this game is not peddled towards being a card collecting game, then the thing that is important is the gameplay, but more importantly, the gameplay modes. And the game modes that we have right now are just as boring as the content we're getting, and everything is just as bad as the gameplay itself. I say this like I feel like at this point, year on year, right? Last year, when I played Warzone, I didn't play Warzone because at the end of it, I was getting a pack. I didn't play Warzone because at the end of it, I could have got, a informed gun. I played Warzone for the gameplay, the camaraderie with my friends, the kind of like endorphin rush of winning, of getting a good kill, of clutching up and bringing the teammates back. It was the actual gameplay that was enjoyable. The same with Fortnite a few years ago for a few years. I played it because I loved the game. I go back even further to when I used to absolutely no-life Diablo 3. That game has, to a degree, no point to it, right? You grind the game, you go and kill all the mobs, you get better gear from it to be able to go and grind the game quicker and kill the mobs quicker, and so on and so forth. And there are like objectives and challenges and stuff. But again, it was about the gameplay. This game is not about the gameplay for most of the community, most of the online social community. Probably for a lot of like casuals, they don't even understand. Like you could probably, like, if you play this game a lot, right? Like probably most of you do here because you're watching me at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon whilst the World Cup's on. It's fair to say you know this game quite probably inside out, right? If you go and talk to your colleague that plays FIFA once a week or every other weekend with his pals, or every now and then with his son or something, and say, "Oh man, those Trevella shots are like out of this world in this game. They're so broken, aren't they?" He's going to look at you and think like, "What language did you just speak to me? Trevella what? Is that an insult? Is that like some Spanish? Like, are you offending me?" Because they haven't got a clue. So for those people, the gameplay is generally okay and it's overwhelming. But for the people that play this game, that understand this game, which I'm not in the elite division, so I can tell you right now, but somebody tell me how many people are in the elite division right now. It's probably more than 100,000, which means there are hundreds of thousands of people who are in Division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that play this game, that understand gameplay mechanics and why they're bad. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that know that this gameplay is bad, right? And that is the biggest problem, is when the content is bad, when the game modes are bad, and when there's no way to actually collect cards and actually grind the card collection side of things without spending either money or ridiculous amounts of times in the transfer market, it comes back to, is it at least fun to play? And the answer is no, it's not. It's not only not fun to play, it is an arduous process to do the most meaningless of tasks. When you want to come here and get these dynamic duos, and you need to, winning 8 in itself is tough enough. Or the squad foundations, you need to play 20 games with 7 Super League players in your squad in rivals or squad battles. Now, if you do that in squad battles, 20 games is going to take you the best part of 6 hours. 6 hours of gameplay for a guy that would be 1,000 coins on the market, right? It's just unreasonable. If you do it in rivals, you have to do it with 7 Super League players. And the reason why that's a problem is because, A, there aren't enough good Super League players out there to build a team that's competitive enough to actually allow you to win the games in rivals, which means you're going to be getting smashed for 20 games in rivals with your Super League team. But B, even if there was enough players from the Super League that were good, they would have been SBCs that would have been out of reach because there's no reasonable way to grind fodder to be able to actually complete the SBCs. And so when you're asking people for this much time investment for this card, it's no wonder why people are just genuinely disenchanted with the game and are ready to turn it off and play almost anything else. Like, in fact, probably to the point where people would rather just not play FIFA than play FIFA and play nothing else. And that's where this game is at. And it's sad.